The House will come to order. Good evening, everyone. I am pleased to welcome you to our History Debate 2021. On behalf of the House, I welcome our adjudicator for this evening, Judge Borjos Untiveros. There are two sides, the government and the opposition. Our motion, this House believes that the acts of Jose Rizal before execution have caused renouncement in Masonry and Retraction. Mr. Aron Biscocho, you may now defend the motion.
I, the proposition side, believe that Jose Rizal retracted his statements against the Catholic Church. Here are the evidence for the eyewitness. According to Dimaano 2013, in 1961, the Jose Rizal National Continual Commission published Rizal's letter to his friends and relatives. Included among these letters was one made by Josephine Bracken in 1897, which was a brief description of her life. It says that on the 20th of July 1896, Dr. Rizal left the Pitan for Cuba as a doctor in the army. But unfortunately, they brought him back again and shot him in the 30th of December 1896. Before his execution, he married me at 5 o'clock in the morning. This is when I am 20 years old in 1896. Ipraken in her diary claimed that Rizal married her hours before Rizal's execution, and the fact that she even used Rizal as surname, then there could be a retraction. In condition, it is a condition of the price before solemnizing the marriage of Rizal and Bracken that the former Rizal retracted first.
Thank you, Mr. Aron Biscocho. Now for the opposition. You may now rebut the previous statement and provide the constructive for your side, calling the attention of Mr. Raven Borbon.
If you ask, if you may ask me, there was no such retraction to be debated. A brilliant, God-fearing man who questioned all his life the authority of Catholic Church doctrines will never in the darkness and brightness depths of our imagination do such an act. The Church Council knows the immeasurable significance of his life and works and repercussion of his day they have done to ensure that the, the death penalty be carried out by actual briefing with a substance amount the Governor Celos Spaniard Gov. The most knowledgeable and most unearned of Rizal history will never entertain such claim in any kind of form, be intangible or highly substantial, authenticated by interested or disinterested parties whatsoever, with even the slightest of possibilities, because he fought for the patriotic and even spiritual principle with all his mind, heart, and soul, and against all odds. And in the disadvantageous side, from the very start of his martyrdom, awaking his final message, written in poetry form, reflect his soul conviction and sacrifice for all the unheard principle in there stood for.
Thank you, Mr. Mark Raven Borbon. Calling the attention of Ms. Zhyrel Dimaano.
Rizal was a very popular for his strong writings against the Catholic Church, which was clearly shown on his book Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. It was also clearly published on his newspapers La Solaridad that tackled the belief that priests are messenger of God. Rizal had a consistent and meaningful system of Christian, though as seen in his writings, and it is therefore harder to think his sudden change of belief. According to Father Balaguer, he married Rizal and Josephine Bracken after Jose signed the retraction paper. But the big question up to now is why can't they show a marriage certificate or a public record to prove that Rizal and Josephine got married? This proves that Father Balaguer is not telling the truth. Maybe he is just making it to change the bad image of the Catholic Church, which was shown on Rizal writings.
Thank you. Miss Zhyrel Dimaano. Mr. Aron Biscocho, you can now defend the motion.
The sworn statement of the eyewitness, like Father Balaguer, agreed, agreed that there was a retraction in marriage between the two. According to the testimony of Father Balaguer, a Jesuit missionary who befriended the hero during his exiles in the Pitan, Rizal accepted a short retraction document prepared by the superior of the Jesuit Society in the Philippines, Father P. Pai. Rizal then wrote his retraction, making some modifications in the document. In his retraction, he disavowed Masonry and religious thoughts that oppose Catholic belief. In addition, on May 18, 1935, the lost or original document of Rizal retraction was discovered by Father Manuel Garcia. This, this discovery, instead of ending doubts of Rizal retraction, has in fact encouraged it because the newly discovered text retraction differs significantly from the text found in the Jesuits and the Archbishop copies, and the fact that the text of the retraction which appeared in the Manila newspaper could be shown in the exact copies of the original, but only imitations of it. This means that the friars who controlled the press in Manila had the original, while the Jesuits have only the imitations.
You may now rebut the previous statement, Mr. McRaven Borbon.
Rizal's so-called retraction is false. His signature was forged. Josephine Bracken, when interviewed in Hong Kong by U.S. Consul to Hong Kong, Roosevelt Widman, said this. He said there was no marriage in Fort Santiago of her and Rizal on December 13, 1896 at exactly 5 a.m. Obviously, Rizal that did not agree to the demand of his fears that they would be married only if Rizal signed an affidavit of retraction. That's the reason why the agreed upon marriage of on December 29, when Josephine visited her, did not push through. Those, those who claim the Rizal signed an affidavit retraction are deceived. And by promoting this deception and the deceiving others too, Dr. Norbert Mercado, author of 4 books about the romance of Dr. Rizal and Josephine Bracken.
You may also rebut the previous statement, Miss Zhyrel Dimaano.
If there is really a retraction paper signed by Rizal, why did they keep it secret for so many years? Why didn't the Catholic Church show this paper? If there is retraction paper, they should immediately show it to the Filipino people because it will be a strong evidence that will change events during those times. Nobody saw the original, only copies were shown to the public. According to Manuel Morato, the friars for the retraction paper and published on the Clerico-Fascist newspaper. It was also said that the motion of Rizal's family to get the original copy has been denied. People never saw Rizal's burial because it was kept secret. If he really retracted why he was executed, if he really died as a Christian son, he would have been given a decent Christian burial to honor the retraction and show the people that they accept him as a Catholic and religious son based on the retraction. According to Ricardo Pascual, PhD, who was given permission by the Archbishop Nuzaleda to examine in the documents and later concluded in his book, Rizal Beyond the Grave, that the documents presented was a forgery. Maybe Father Balaguer or Father P had made errors in reproducing another copy of the original. It definitely shows that there is no retraction written by Rizal. It is only a pure accusation and misleading the people's belief about the history and life of our national hero silently fighting through his writings.
Thank you, both teams. The debate proper is now over. Let us now hear what the adjudicator thinks about the performance of our two teams. Judge Morie and Untiveros, please give some comments on both teams' performance and the result of today's debate.
Since both sides have already presented their arguments, I want to commend and thank you for the informations that you had given everyone about is Rizal retracted or not. But there is one question that we can surely answer. Rizal is a hero. This group, given the proposition and defended the motion, which is the government group, and then the other side refuted and negated this motion. As for this debate, the pros presented their testimonies and evidences that they're directly connected to the topic, and the contra group also. Hmm. But I want to ask questions for the group which says Rizal retracted. Yeah. Josephine said she was married, but like what Miss Rizal asked, if they are really married, is where was the marriage contract, or is there a marriage contract that can be that can be presented? And about the original document that was presented, about according to National History Commission of the Philippines, uh, there was allegation about the written date of Rizal's original document, which is December 29, 1899, and letter C in the last letter of it. So, what is the true date of it? Is it 6 or 0? And I want to ask a question about the group which saying that Rizal is not retracted. If there is no married, why did Josephine Bracken use the Rizal as her surname? But for this debate, there should be a winner. Yet, even though the groups presented clearly and support with evidences, I am on the side of the group which is saying that Rizal is not retracted. Even though the result has been given, the value of Rizal's deed in our history, which opening the eyes of many Filipino, didn't lessen. Through him, the nationalism and patriotism of Filipino was lit and now have been burning. With that, I now declare the House is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
The retraction of Jose Rizal has sparked debate among historians as to whether or not Rizal reversed his statements on the Catholic Church. Some claim that his document is a fake and that Rizal was the only one who authored and signed the retraction paper, citing Rizal's estate. I reject with all my heart whatever in my words, works, publications, and action has been adverse to my character as a son of the Catholic Church. There are arguments that both statements are based on, but whether Rizal retracts or not, the knowledge he instilled in us will remain unchanged.